boys and girls. Today we are going to be discussing theme again, applying what we've learned to a new story. So, when we talk about theme, we think of one word that describes what's happening in the story, a lesson that the author wants us to learn, or something that the characters are doing, how the characters change. So it's kind of what's woven throughout the story. Just like we talked about themes of a birthday. It's where you see all of the different elements that bring it together to make that party. It's the same thing with the story. So it's all the elements woven together to make a common theme. So just like with Michael Jordan, when Salt in His Shoes, the common theme there, the thing that we saw throughout was how Michael Jordan persevered. And it's so important to know how to persevere or not give up. And we know that by evidence from the book because he had to wait and grow to play. He was bullied, but he still never gave up. So we're going to look at that while we read Inchworm's Tale, which is a folk tale, if you see this right here. And if you remember, a folk tale is a story that is passed down by word of mouth and over many, many years. So just like we talked about folk tales, they change over time because once it's passed from one person to one person, they're adding to it or taking away from it. So it's something that wasn't really wrote down until this author did. And so we're going to look at that. It's Inchworm's Tale. Now, this kind of tale is not the tale of a horse or the tale of a dog or something. This tale, Tale, is a story. That means a story. And it's about an inchworm. And I know you can't see the title very good, but an inchworm. So I do not see an inchworm in the illustrations right now. So in my mind, I should be thinking as a reader, okay, what is this about? Where does an inchworm fit in? All right, here we go. Long ago, Anat and his sister Annika went swimming. They swam all afternoon and became very tired. They were exhausted and climbed onto a large, flat rock to rest. Soon they fell asleep. A strange and mysterious thing happened as they slept. The rock beneath them grew and expanded until it reached the clouds. Anat awoke and looked around. "Sister, wake up!" he cried in disbelief. "Am I dreaming or are we among the clouds?" Annika rubbed her eyes. "You're not dreaming, brother. The rock has grown while we slept." The children looked around and saw fabulous blue sky and wonderful white clouds. The children were so high, Annika felt dizzy. Anat searched for a way to climb down, but he could not find a path. Anat and Annika started to cry. They felt fear and dismay. So this is setting us up for the story. So here's our main characters, Anat and Annika. They are stuck on a mountain. I know that this is a folktale because obviously rocks and mountains do not grow while we're asleep. They don't grow that fast. So I know that that's not true, but I know that this folktale is trying to teach me something. So let's see what it's trying to teach me. Still no inchworm, so I'm still wondering where the inchworm comes into play. Below, the villagers became worried. Where were the children? They searched the forest, meadows, river, and lakes. So just like if you got lost or if you didn't tell your family, the people who love you, where you were going, they would wonder where you are and be afraid. So they're saying, "Where's the children?" Then Aisha, the village chief, looked around and noticed Hawk sitting on a tree branch. "Hawk, will you help us find Anat and Annika?" he asked. "You have sharp, watchful eyes and strong wings. They are your best features. Please use them to help us find the children." So they're saying Hawk can help them. Hawk agreed to help and flew up into the sky. He tilted his head and squinted his eyes at the bright sunlight. When he was near the clouds, he spied the children on the rock. "Don't be afraid," said Hawk. "We will rescue you." Hawk was unable to carry the children down the rock, so he gathered lots of food for them to eat. Then he brought large leaves to keep them warm. Hawk wanted to make sure they were safe and unharmed. So Hawk is saying, okay, I found them, but I can't help them down. So what is Hawk going to do? If I'm looking at the illustrations, now I see an inchworm here. And I'm seeing the animals and the chief, they look like they're having a meeting and they're talking. I feel like they're talking about ways to help them. So here's the inchworm, and inchworms are actually really tiny. So I'm wondering how she's going to help. So let's read and find out. Hawk flew down to the village and spoke to Aisha. Aisha called all the animals together and told them they needed to help get the children down. He asked each animal to use its most special feature to climb the tall rock. So all animals have special features. Several tried and failed. Mouse's teeth were strong and unique, but they could not help her climb the rock. Bear's huge claws were good for climbing up trees. However, they could not help him scale rocks. Mountain lion's claws were sharp and powerful, but the rock was too slippery and he slid back down. Finally, a tiny voice with enthusiasm spoke up and offered to help. May I try, please? It's me, Two Talk the Inchworm. So, most of the time when we think of like big animals, we think, and a mountain lion, of course, we think a mountain lion could get up the rock. But in this case, that's not that they couldn't get up there. So they're wondering, okay, what do we do? So they're all coming up with a plan to help them. And then here's Inchworm saying, okay, let me try. Inchworm showed them all how skillful she was at climbing. Hawk volunteered to carry Inchworm to the top of the rock. Then she could lead Anat and Annika down the giant mountain. Aisha agreed to the plan. So Hawk carefully picked up Inchworm in his beak. Together, they flew to the top of the rock where the children were waiting. Along the way, Inchworm planned for the trip down. I know that they're working together because of this word right here, together. So Hawk didn't say, all right, I tried. I couldn't help him. I'm leaving you. He said, nope, I'm going to help you. And they did it together. It took almost a week for the three to climb down to the village. Inch by inch, Inchworm led the children carefully down the rocky slope. So a week is 7 days. It's taking them 7 days to get down the mountain. Every day, Hawk brought food to the children. Every day, he reappeared in the village with news for the villagers. Finally, Inchworm, Anat, and Annika reached the bottom of the rock. Everyone cheered and called Inchworm a hero. It was a glorious, splendid day. From this day on, said Aisha, I renamed the big rock Tutak Onula after the brave Inchworm. So, in your mind, you should be thinking, okay, so the inchworm is the one who got them down the mountain, but she did not do it alone. They all met together, and together they helped them. So you should be thinking, okay, what is it called when people work together? What is it called when I work with other people to reach a common goal? So their goal was to get the children home safe. What is that called? So you may have heard it be called teamwork, or the word cooperation. So cooperation is a common theme, and that is where characters in a story work together for a common goal. So I would say that throughout the story, working together or cooperation is the theme of this story. So I hope you can see that, and we can prove that by going back, we know that they work together. So mouse tried, bear tried, mountain lion tried. They're all trying, and then Hawk helped Inchworm. So today when you're reading, you're going to apply what you've learned to a short story in Seesaw. And I want you to think about what is woven throughout. How are the characters acting? And remember, a theme isn't one word. So friendship or love. And in this situation, cooperation. So when you read today, I want you to think about that. As always, if you have questions, let me know. I love you, and I hope you have a wonderful day.